Hi, my name's Mich Hayter and I'm on dialysis. I have been for about 6 years. I'm sitting on dialysis at the moment at the Derbyshire hospital and I have just over an hour left to go. Today I'd like to talk about food and fluid restrictions. They can be quite difficult, but there are ways to cope with them. The way that dialysis works is that between each dialysis that you have, your body retains all the fluid that you take in. That includes fluid in food such as custard, gravy, cereals, anything that's a fluid. When it enters a food that you've made or bought, remains a fluid in your body and gets stored. Where it gets stored in the body is different for different people. My fluid gets stored on my hips and my stomach. Some people's is stored on their face, and other people, a lot of people in fact, store it on their ankles or their legs. Once you can start seeing this fluid being stored on your body, you know that your body is struggling to retain the fluid ready for the next dialysis. If you're still passing urine, it means that your kidneys are still doing some of the work to remove fluid from your body. That's great because it means you can drink a little bit extra. However, if your kidneys no longer function at all, it means that you need to restrict your fluid intake. The way in which they assess how much weight to take off you at each dialysis is to weigh you. They'll give you a base weight, which means that they would like you to get that down to that weight each dialysis session. If you've overeaten during, or maybe restricted your fluid correctly but overeaten, your weight can be too high. Well, the nursing staff won't know that that's food weight. They may think it's fluid weight and they'll take off accordingly to get you back down to your base weight. This can cause issues because you don't want to have dry weight being pulled out of your body, just the fluid weight. The results of this happening are low blood pressure, feeling dehydrated, feeling floaty and faint, and it also puts a lot of pressure on your heart and other organs in your body. I'm lucky, I dialyse in the evening and I go home after dialysis and sleep. But if you dialyse in the morning or the afternoon and then go home and need to function and you've pulled too much fluid out, you might not be able to function normally. There is a condition called syncope, which is where being dehydrated and which causes the low blood pressure can cause a lack of oxygen getting to your brain, which can cause you to collapse, faint, and in some cases have convulsions. I suffered with this until I understood how it was being caused, and I've taken appropriate action now to manage that, but whilst I was unsure how to deal with it, it caused a lot of problems, including collapsing at home one day and smashing my head on a sink, which broke my nose. So that was a hard lesson to learn, but these things are sent to test us, and it's all about having a problem, resolving it, and moving forward. So, food and fluid intake. One of the things that we have to restrict in our diet is potassium. This potassium is in a lot of foods, a lot of foods that are really nice as well, like chocolate and coffee, but also in tomatoes, avocados, bananas, in all potato products, unless the potato has been boiled to death, so chips, crisps, etc. And it's all about replacing the products that you love with products that you're allowed or are less potassium. So for example, I don't eat normal potato chips, I eat Wotsits, but also Skips. Wotsits are made out of corn and therefore less potassium. So that is my snack of choice, because I know that it's not putting me in too much potassium danger. Things like chocolate and coffee, I don't think you can knock them straight or completely out of your diet. I love coffee, so my treat each dialysis is to, on the way into the hospital, is to have a large cup of coffee. It's my dialysis treat. But in order to get that off while I'm on dialysis, I add an extra 0.2 onto my weight loss. Chocolate is something I used to love, and in an effort to maintain my health, I've by choice restricted it to minimum amounts and when I feel well, and maybe just before dialysis, so I know it will be stripped out as soon as possible. The other foods that are restricted: bananas, tomatoes, which I love, and avocados, which I love. I'll eat them sparingly, just being careful really. If I have, and I think a lot of people do have this, a binge of something, it's very, very rare, and I might be just want to eat something, like an avocado salad. If I'm worried, I'll ask for my potassium level to be checked. There have been occasions where my potassium has got too high, and on one occasion I collapsed and went into a coma. It was extremely scary, and the police and ambulance had to break into my house to get me out, and I was rushed into hospital unconscious, and they thought obviously the worst, but I was okay. But it taught me a very good lesson that I can't take risks with my health. I'm a stepmom and a wife, and I want to see the kids grow up, and I want to spend the rest of my life on my husband's life with him. So hard lesson to learn, but it did the trick, and unfortunately I think I'm one of the people in the world who has to learn the hard way. I don't like being told what to do, unfortunately, so so be it. So food, just be careful if you can. Don't restrict yourself too much. Have a little bit of what you like. If you're worried, ask for your bloods to be checked. Eat the foods that you love the most on dialysis, so that they're taken out of your blood at the same time. Fluids can be hard to restrict. If you're struggling, the easiest way, at one point, not this time but last time I was on dialysis in the 80s, I was so thirsty that I ended up sucking the water out of my toothbrush, and I had been known to suck the fluid out of a flannel when I was in the bath, because all the water around me just made me feel so thirsty. I have a much better handle on that type of situation now, and if I'm very, very thirsty and I've already got too much on board, I will suck an ice cube or a lolly, or make a drink like a cup of tea, which is really refreshing, in a very small mug, just a tiny little mug, and I have some small mugs at home just for this purpose. Having a large mug, it's very hard to only take the top off it. Having a small mug and knowing that you can drink that helps, and I'll sip it so that it lasts as long as possible. I think one of the things that I've realised is that dialysis creates a lot of difficult situations. They can be perceived as hardships, but you have to see them as an opportunity to change something in your life, resolve the issue and move forward. Dialysis should not be the be-all and end-all of your life. It is just a part of your life, and it's easy to fit it into a routine, and then get on with the rest of your life. you can still work, you can still go on holiday, you can still do other things. And I'm hoping that through these videos I'll be able to show you that life doesn't stop once you're on dialysis. Thank you, and I'll see you again soon.